It sounds like a counterintuitive thing for me to be telling you and all of the experts who say that if you want to scale anything up, then you should definitely outsource things like this. But I'm here to tell you instead that you should be editing your own podcast episodes, at least for the first 5, maybe 10 episodes themselves. If you don't know me, then my name's Simon. I'm here with this podcast channel called Authority After 40, and it's aimed at people who are in their 40s and 50s who want to start a podcast, maybe who present themselves on camera, who do Zoom calls or Teams calls, and you want to speak with more confidence, more authority, because you've got years of experience behind you. It's quite funny. It seems like the whole world wants to start a podcast or be on camera if you're in your 20s, but when we get to 40s and 50s, suddenly we find that there's a whole load of imposter syndrome that's kicking in. I appreciate you being here. We're going to talk today about why it's important for you to edit your own podcast. You might be wondering why this is the case. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand why people say that it's important that you should outsource the editing of a podcast or a video, if you record video as well, how you should or why you should outsource that to somebody else. The logic behind that is totally sound. If you spend your life recording a podcast or a video and then editing it yourself, you could be spending that second half recording new content and therefore having twice as much content going out. I get that. The trouble is, when you start recording a podcast, and actually let's just use the example of a podcast. And even let's keep it really simple. Let's just use the example of an audio-only podcast. If you start your own podcast and you haven't done it before, the first time you play it back, the first time you hear your own voice, you're probably going to say, gosh, I sound awful. I can't believe I sound like that. I've literally known people who have gone and apologized to their spouses, wives and husbands, for sounding the way that they do and saying to them, literally, we've been married for 20 years. I'm really sorry that I sounded like this. I had no idea at all. Because we're not used to hearing the sound of our own voice in the open air like that. Whenever we speak, we hear our own voice in our head. Whenever anybody else speaks, we hear their voice in the open air. So our voice sounds like the way that we think it sounds because we're used to hearing it in one way. But actually, other people are used to hearing it a completely different way. So the sound of your own voice is only strange to you. You're simply not used to it. And the more you listen to your own voice by hearing back your podcast recordings, the more okay you get hearing your own voice. You get over that hump of that icky kind of feeling of hearing your own voice. And instead, you start to be more constructive in your own self-criticism. And I mean that in a positive way. Instead of going, gosh, I sound awful, don't I? Don't I sound awful? Then instead you start thinking, oh, it's interesting the way that I say that. I probably shouldn't say that. Or I have a tendency to interrupt people. Or I have a tendency to not interrupt people. That's a really key one as well. Sometimes you need to rein somebody in. And there are polite ways of interrupting someone so they don't get offended. But the audience sometimes is egging you on to interrupt that person because they're just going on and on and on. So there are little quirky things that you find you might do or tactical things that you could be doing and maybe should be doing. And if you edit your own podcast content, then you find a way to get over those as well. So I'm kind of wrapping two different things into one thing there, which is that first of all, you need to get over the sound of your own voice. And then secondly, you need to understand those quirky little things that you don't do, that you do that you shouldn't be doing, or those tactical things that you could be doing that maybe you're not doing. Now, you might be wondering actually where I am right now. If you've watched my first 3 videos, then you'll know that I was recording, well, you could probably tell that I was recording all 3 of those in the same location. That's in my home office where I do all of my work. At the moment, I'm in a hotel, quite obviously. I'm in Vietnam. I've never been to Vietnam before. I'm here for what was supposed to be 24 hours. Actually, because my home is normally in Dubai, there's a little bit of conflict going on there right now. So instead of flying out the day before, flying in for the Friday event and then flying back Friday evening, which is what I was going to be doing, I decided to come out on Sunday, and I'm here Monday to Friday, and then Monday to Thursday I'm just going to be in this hotel room working or out finding a co-working space somewhere like that. Actually though, I don't even know if I am going to be flying back on Friday evening. After all, I was going to be taking the Friday evening flight and arriving back at 4 o'clock in the morning Dubai time, which is 7 o'clock in the morning here in Vietnam, but I'm hearing that there's a pause right now in the conflict and it might kick off again and the scheduled time is UK time midnight on Friday night, which is 4 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, the exact time that I'm supposed to be landing in Dubai. So I may well actually decide to stay here for a little bit longer. I'm not too sure. That's just a little bit of extra that I wanted to add on to the end of this. The whole point of these videos, by the way, is that there's probably nobody watching them apart from me, because I'm recording these first 10 videos in order to get to number 10 and then remove them all and start again from number 1. The reason for that, the strange kind of logic, is that honestly, it's very hard to start a YouTube channel. It's hard just to record that first video. If you're anything like me, you tend to overthink how you're going to sound, how you're going to look, what those keywords are, what your niche is, all of these things. There are multiple reasons why you stop, why you don't even start with your first video. Ultimately, it's probably fear overriding all of those reasons that you're giving to yourself. So what I'm just doing here is recording 10 videos, going through the motion of recording them, editing them, putting them onto YouTube by uploading them, and then I'll get to number 10 and I'll take them down again. It was only by deciding that I should do something like that I realized that that's my way of actually starting it, because I'm not at all precious about how these look and how these sound. It doesn't mean that I'm going to talk to you when I'm in my pajamas. Before I hit record, I was wearing a t-shirt that's not a very smart t-shirt. I was just sat at my laptop doing some work, not on camera at all. But I thought, actually, I should change that for something just a little bit more smart. So I've got this here. So this is me going through those motions of recording these videos, and that just means that when I get to number 11, that'll be number 1. I won't even talk about these 10 videos that appeared and then disappeared again, but the whole point of this is just to exercise that discipline, that motion of recording, editing, and uploading to YouTube. So if you are watching this, and chances are nobody is apart from future Simon, like in 10 days' time, but if you are watching this, then I appreciate you being here. Please do subscribe to this channel. You'll be one of the only people who knows that I recorded 10 videos before I then did the first proper one. I'm always encouraged by Mark S. Brownlee, who's got the YouTube channel MKBHD. It took him, by the time he'd recorded his 100th video, he only had 88 subscribers. Now he's got over 20 million. So if he can do 100, then I can certainly do 10. Thanks for watching this. I'll see you in number 5. This is number 4. I'll see you in number 5.